Excellent. Well, welcome everyone. It's so great to have you all here with us today. Today we are going to review our 2024 Mom Congress Moms Agenda. We are going to have plenty of time together today to look through all the different resources and things of that nature. We welcome you to ask questions in the chat. Throughout the time, we will have question and answer time set aside at the end as well. And today we do have members as well as possible non-members on the call with us today. Some people want to dip their toe into Mom Congress and see what we're all about. So this is a great opportunity for you to do that. This will be recorded and sent out to all of our members as well. So we welcome you here today. You can go to the next slide, Ebony. So in our session today, we're going to continue to admit people on a rolling basis from the waiting room. Ooh, excuse me. Today, we're going to review the Moms Agenda. So we'll review the history of the Moms Agenda, how we got to be where we are today, the process for bill selection. We'll give you options for nominating a bill to the Moms Agenda. We will review where you can find your training materials. And then we'll also discuss how you can start researching where your legislator stands on each of the bills to formulate your advocacy ask for this year. You can go to the next slide. So in 2019, as a lot of you all may recall, Mom Congress was formed as a coalition of organizations. So several groups were bringing maternal health advocates to the Hill and decided to join forces. And in that first year, this package of legislation was referred to as the Momnibus. So in 2019, these bills were selected by leadership from those different organizations. We trained on the Hill and then advocated the following day for these bills. We can go to the next slide. In 2020, we had a Momnibus policy platform, again, formulated by those coalition of organizations. And then in the middle of 2020 is when we decided to convert from an organization, a coalition of organizations, to a member-driven organization. So you'll notice some of the things that changed when we made that change. One of them being the way that we name the Moms Agenda or the package of legislation. So we went in 2020 from calling it the Momnibus. We can go to the next slide, which, to give you the insight there, an omnibus, which is being described here by Merriam-Webster, containing or including many items as an omnibus bill. So Momnibus was a play on an omnibus, which is like a package of bills, legislation that would move through all together. And we can go to the next slide. Of course, now we know that the Black Maternal Health Momnibus is really well known and known under that nomenclature. So we were very happy to change how we refer to our package of legislation. So we now call it the Moms Agenda, even though you'll see on the website it was previously published as the Momnibus. So the Black Maternal Health Momnibus is completely separate from Mom Congress. That was, actually, Ebony, I think you can click on that image and it should hyperlink us out to information on the Black Maternal Health Momnibus and the Black Maternal Health Caucus. So just sharing some information with you all here about those bills. You can learn about their origins and where they sit and things of that nature. And then when we go back to the slides, you'll see what is linked there is a statement from Mom Congress on our 2024 Moms Agenda, which is that Mom Congress is a proud supporter of the 2023 Momnibus, a package of 13 bills dedicated to ending preventable maternal mortality and closing racial and ethnic disparities in maternal health outcomes. That statement is there because, as many of you all know, what drives the formation of our annual Moms Agenda is bipartisan legislation. So that's meaning at the time of introduction, the bill has a Republican as well as a Democrat, making it more feasible to pass, because if you have people working together on both sides of the aisle, we're more likely to get bills pushed through. So we can go back to the slides when you're ready, Ebony, and I will continue walking us through how we've gone from being the Momnibus to now our Mom Congress Moms Agenda. I'll also pause for a moment to ask if anyone has any questions, thoughts, or reflections, anything you'd like to share. Feel free to come off mute, or you can put it in the chat too. Hi, Felicia. Good to see you. Okay. So we can go to the next slide. So now we are at our 2024 Moms Agenda. A couple of the questions that were noted for us here is that there seems to be more bills than there have been in the past. And the answer is yes, that is actually by design. One is there's really great opportunity and education out there right now surrounding bills that meet our policy priorities. So we want to strike while the iron's hot and not leave anything on the table. And also in the past, we were really driven to choose fewer bills based on our training style. So annually, when we go to DC, we would bring industry leaders and break out into different groups in rooms and let people train individually on bills. That would be done the day before our advocacy day. What we learned was that people were really itching for more time to digest and understand and formulate their ask and relate their story and things of that nature. So the gift of COVID is that we now have Zoom and virtual events and an opportunity to offer recordings. And so what we've been able to do is offer much more robust training on each of the bills and allow you as the Mom Congress member advocate to select what you want to advocate for. So we'll dig into that a little bit further, but just want to make really clear before we start digging into this large package of bills that you are not expected to train on all of them. You are not expected to advocate for all of them. You are welcome to do as many as you like or as few as you like. If there is just one bill that really stands out to you that would serve your community, you can lean in right there. But if there's a package that you would like to put together of several different bills, or if just one category speaks to you, that's completely up to you. So does anyone have questions about that before we go forward? All right, we can go to the next slide. So you'll see here, the 2024 Moms Agenda supports pieces of legislation. We annually support pieces of legislation through calls to action, organizational sign-on letters, and direct advocacy by our members. So the package of legislation that we elevate to the Moms Agenda, which means that we're going to find an industry leader to train on the bill, partner with the author's office to be sure that it is bipartisan, or if we can support it becoming bipartisan before introduction, we will do that as well. So there might be, again, like the statement about the Black Maternal Health Momnibus. It's something that our community has recognized as important legislation that we are in support of. We have elevated the 3 bills that are bipartisan to our Moms Agenda, but the other 10 that only have one-sided representation at this time have not been elevated to the Moms Agenda. So hopefully that makes sense. Also, if there's a bill, whether it be from the Black Maternal Health Momnibus or otherwise, that you really want to see introduced and it only has one-sided representation, we'd be happy to help find someone to come to the center of the aisle. So that's something that we can do as Mom Congress members, is identify a bill that is Dem only, and do you have the Republican leader who would be willing to step forward and make it a bipartisan bill? So just something to think about. And the categories that we have listed down there below, oh, sorry, Ebony, I jumped in there. We have maternal health, mental health, loss, working moms, which is where we focus on paid leave and childcare. Then we also have member priorities. So we have not released the 2024 survey as yet, but annually we do release a survey where members can put forward issues that they would like us to research legislation on that's directly impacting their communities. And then Ebony, if you'd like to just link out to the Moms Agenda real quick, we'll give everyone a visual on what all those bills are. And I just put a link in the chat too, if you yourself would like to go ahead and go to the Mom Congress website. It may be on the last slide, Ebony, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. Just gonna let a few more in from the waiting room, just one moment. Hi, Christine, good to have you. So this is our 2024 Moms Agenda. You'll note at the top here, you'll have each of those policy priority categories bolded and underlined. And then below it, we'll have the name of the bill, hyperlinks out to both its House and Senate versions, as well as a summary. So this is kind of one-stop shopping when you're doing your Moms Agenda bill research. And what we can do, we'll look at this more in depth in a moment, but I'll just show you via the hyperlinks here. Ebony, if you wouldn't mind clicking on HR 3768. This is a piece that we'll dig into later here, but you can go onto the congress.gov site here and navigate down to co-sponsors. And this is where you're going to see if your legislator is in fact already signed on to this bill, which is the piece of information that you'll need to know to begin advocating for it. Does anyone have questions before we move on? All right, well, we can go back to the slides. And again, want to point out to you all that if there is a piece of legislation that you would like to see nominated, you may do so through this nomination form. It is published at the bottom of that link, the website, I'm sorry, that I just put in the chat, and I'll also put the nomination form into the link right here. Keep losing you all. Where'd you go? There it is. So that's a link to the nomination form, and that's open on a rolling basis. So you're welcome to nominate legislation there at any point in time. And we can go to the next slide. So how do you access Mom's Agenda training for the bills that you've selected? So once you've looked through the 2024 Mom's Agenda, you can look through each of those categories. You can read about the bill, you can read the summaries, and you can see what really speaks to you. And then you're going to want to go to our members only webpage. I will have Ebony hyperlink out to this if you don't mind, and we'll show you how to navigate that. So this is a member page, looks like our website, but is accessible only by Mom Congress members. You'll see here, this is where we have information about our member calendar, our upcoming events. And then as we continue to scroll down, we'll see details about the DC Hill Day. And then at some point down here, there's a long list of training videos. So there's the working session, member badges, storytelling training, all the good stuff is here. And then here's the Mom's Agenda bill trainings. So the question that might arise is, aren't these from last year? And the answer is yes. These bills are all carried over from 2023 into 2024 because we are still in the 118th Congress. So we are still advocating for the same bills. Any bills that have significant changes or have died or anything of that nature will be updated. But as we currently stand, the training is all accurate and none of the bills have significant changes as well. So what we're going to look for really is just the standing on each of your legislators. There have been 2 more bills elevated to the Mom's Agenda, and those training invitations will be coming out. One will come out today, and hopefully the next one will be within the next week. And again, if we identify another bipartisan piece of legislation that fits in with our policy priorities, or if someone brings it forward and nominates that, we will gladly elevate it to the Mom's Agenda at that time and do a training on it then. And if you just want to scroll down, Ebony, I just want everyone to see that all of the bills are on here. So you'll just need to look for the title up top, and then you can view the slides and the recording. These are all roughly 20 to 25 minutes in length. So hopefully if you pick 2 or 3 bills, you won't be having to dedicate a huge amount of time in order to be trained on those. And we'll pause again for questions. Everyone feel comfortable with the idea of picking the bills that you would like to advocate for, understanding that either as it relates to your story or something that you think is really imperative for your community that you would like to advocate for. There will be occasional times that Mom Congress would reach out to a member and say, your representative or your senator in particular is offering some pushback or is not in support or, could really use hearing from you as the constituent. And so that would be the only time that Mom Congress might call on you to advocate for a bill that you haven't necessarily trained on, but otherwise it should be just completely up to you and what you would like to advocate for. And I will put a link for membership in here and want to make sure that you all see that code is available. So if you're not yet a member, you can access a $5 membership using the code 5. There are also scholarships available for memberships. So please know that we don't want funding to be an issue for you to be able to join us. And we can go to the next slide. So if you have not already, what you will want to do in order to start preparing your advocacy ask is identify who your legislators are. Many of you have seen this slide many, many times, but it's a reminder that you are looking for one representative. So look for your district representative. These hyperlinks click out and I'll let you all look through that if you've not done that yet. And we can go to the next slide, which is asking the same of identifying your senators. So look up who your 2 senators are, and that way you have those names, you know which parties they're affiliated with. And we can go to the next slide. So once you've got all that information in front of you, you want to research your bills. You want to review the House version and see, is your representative signed on? So again, the House of Representatives is separate from the Senate. So you're looking at two versions of the bill. Your House of Representatives member would be one person. So only one individual would be signed on as a House of Representative member for your district. And then for the senators, you have two senators. You'll want to look and see if one or both of them is signed on. And then you may know if you have already developed a relationship with that office, if you anticipate their support, if you think it's going to be an easy ask. For many of you, you may be identifying that they're already signed on. I think that was one of the text messages with Alice earlier, was that she knows that her senators are already signed on. So she may be going in with a different ask, or she may be going in with a thank you and just wanting to reinforce that relationship. So the next time she calls for an advocacy ask, they say, oh yeah, that's Alice from Mom Congress. Like, we support the bills that she brings forward, and we want to support her again. So opportunities for relationship building when you anticipate their support or not. We can go to the next slide. Then you want to do a little legwork on researching your legislator. So these are just some prompts for you to think about. Do you know where they stand on the issues that are important to you? Do they have legislation that you would like to support that's not on the mom's agenda? Sometimes you'll call an office to make an appointment or to advocate for a bill, and they say, oh, you're organizing maternal health advocacy. Have you considered this bill that we've put forward? And that's where we could take the opportunity to say, yes, this looks great, but it's not bipartisan, or whatever we would want to offer reflection on. But if it's a bill that we should support, then we would gladly elevate it to the mom's agenda. Can you thank them for supporting a mom's agenda bill in the past? And what else would inform your advocacy angle with this member? So some members are parents, they are grandparents. Some of them have had their own maternal health stories and struggles. Some of these are very readily available online on their websites, or you can look at their voting history to see where they have stood on the issues. So it's something that can inform the way that you ask of the member. Oftentimes, it's a really great bridge to look at a member who you know has a family and understand that they've probably been impacted by the things you're bringing forward as well. And I'll pause again here for a moment for questions, or anyone else have reflections. I know a lot of you that are on the call have really mastered this sleuthing skill of learning how to build a bridge with your legislator, or find something that can endear you in a way that creates a good relationship. So welcome anyone to offer their thoughts or reflections too. And we can go to the next slide. And then finally, you're going to want to format and organize your ask. So you have your bills, you know where your legislator stands on those bills. You want to rely on your mama's voices, your storytelling, patient-family partner training to help you relate your personal story to the bills you're advocating for, if that's the angle that you would like to use for your advocacy. You can set aside time with other members in your state to discuss bills that would bring positive change. So if you're looking to attend a Senate meeting in DC, or if perhaps you're thinking about an in-district advocacy day later in the year that you might go to with some of your fellow Mom Congress members, do you all want to ask for the same things? Do you all have similar asks? Do you have a way that you can organize what you bring forward to those senators? Some of you, not that common as of yet, but some of you have the same House of Representatives members too. So we'd probably be more organized on the Senate end beginning, but if you do have another Mom Congress member in your district for your representative, organizing your ask together could be really powerful. Okay. And then the true magic is in the follow-up. And that's really just to say that because of your meetings with them, and then following up and reminding them and asking them to sign on and giving one more phone call or sending one more follow-up email really makes a difference, and knowing when we can lean in. So we will look forward to celebrating more bills being passed. We have celebrated the passage of 5 bills that we've advocated for since 2019, which is pretty huge when you consider federal legislation can move at a really glacial pace. And those bills, we can go to the next slide, are all listed here. So if you do not already know, these are the 5 bills that Mom Congress supported that have passed. Very excited to let you all know that the Triumph for New Moms Act task force is in full formation, and hopefully we'll be able to hear some reporting from them very soon. So all really good things to come, and we can go to the next slide. So up next will be bill training for Maintaining Our Obligation to Moms Who Serve Act. So that's under our maternal mental health policy priority. We're going to be trained on that by Jamie Belcito of the Maternal Mental Health Leadership Alliance. So we're excited to welcome her this time next week. So next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. That will again be recorded, published to the Mom Congress members only webpage, and sent out to you via email if you're not able to attend live. And we can go to the next slide. Hi, Felicia. As a reminder for Mom Congress members, we are hosting a very small version of our DC Hill Day this year. Excited to put something on, hoping that 2025 will be our big blowout year, but we've been inviting 2 members per state to participate in the DC Hill Day. Those invitations are going out on a rolling basis and based on tenure. So we just look at, okay, in the state of Texas, who joined Mom Congress first? Those 2 people get an invitation. If they're not able to come, we're passing the invitation along to the next person. What we have found is that a lot of people are reaching out saying, hey, let me know when I'm might get the opportunity because I want to mark my calendar, things of that nature. So we've started a wait list, and I will put this link in the chat right now. If you have not already seen it, it did go out via email. We'll send it out again, but want everyone that would like to come to DC to have the opportunity to at least put your name on that wait list. And we will know by next Friday who all has accepted invitations. And some states have had everyone unable to come. So let's say, again, I'll just say Texas. If everyone in Texas was invited and is not able to come, if someone had joined the wait list from Texas, they would receive the invitation. So we're working on making that happen as soon as possible. Does anyone have questions about that or anything else? Okay, we can go to the next slide. Oh, and this is just, again, another reminder that if you're not yet a member, you can become a member via this link and use the code 5 for a discounted membership. Hey, Denise, thank you. Yeah, that's so great. And I'll be able to get back to you this afternoon. So I'm excited to connect with you. And we can go to the next slide. And that's it. It's me and Ebony. You know where to find us. And if it's hard to hear back from us, know that we're just in crazy planning phase. So you're welcome to use my cell phone number anytime. It's at the bottom of my email. I welcome a text message if you need to check in with me on something. I'm seeing lots of emails from those that are coming to DC looking for meeting invitations. So we'll get the working session sent back out to everyone again today too. And again, we'll just pause here for questions. We did set aside 45 minutes and we've only used 30. So quite happy to stay on if people have questions, or we can go ahead and end the recording.
I have a question. This is Blakely Lowry representing New York. Hi. I was wondering, is there another New Yorker that has secured their spot? If we could get in touch with each other?
Yes, and I think she's on the call.
I am. I just unmuted. It's Jennifer Deagle. So let's definitely connect sooner than later for that. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Jennifer.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jennifer got registered, I think, last night. And so yes, I will get 2 of you connected in an email.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, okay. It looks like everybody wants to know, is there somebody else in their state? Ebony and I will go through the registration lists again and make sure that if you're registered for DC Hill Day, that you're connected with someone else from your state. If you don't hear from us, it's because you're the only one at the moment. But we put out state introduction emails. I want to say, Ebony, did we do it in the last quarter where we connected everybody in your state? And we do want to revive that email thread too, because we've had quite a few new members join. So if you're not already on a Meet Your Fellow Mom Congress Member State email, anticipate that we're going to try to push back through those soon too, so you can get to meet the fellow members that are in your state, have that list of email addresses and contacts for you all. Oh, I love this. And Daniela, thank you for saying that. So what Daniela mentioned is I'm from Kansas, so happy to jump in on those meetings too, but I'm in DC. It's a great opportunity for you to think about if you have voted in one place or grew up in another. If you have another office you want to stop by, we certainly welcome that. And we will be doing another DC Hill Day prep session where we all get together and review where we're sitting on the bills, what our movements will be like on the day, and any strategies we'd like to put together for any key meetings. Any other questions? Great questions.